Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Andy, and today I'm going to be showing you how to dress frets on an electric guitar. I currently work out of a music shop in Southend-on-Sea. I've been a guitar tech and luthier for around 12 years. So yeah, we'll get straight down to business in just a moment. So yeah, let's start by flattening the neck out. So I've already done this, by the way, prior to this video, so you get an idea. What we're looking for on this particular tool is if there is I'm going to try and hold this and do this at the same time. This is a little bit tricky. But yeah, just so you can see it around about like that. What you're looking for is to see if you can see daylight under any of these particular notches on the notch straight edge, just to make sure the neck's straight. There's no rock in it really. If there's rock in it, you'll yeah, again, your frets won't be completely flush with their neighbours. It actually looks like it's a little bit out. Actually, it could do with being slackened off a little bit. So yeah, it's moved. Let's just go ahead and do that. Obviously the right sized Allen key is very important. I always put a little bit of red tape around this one for USA instruments. It just helps me to identify it quickly. Cool, that ain't been undone in a few years. Cool, blimey. That was tight. I'm just going to flatten this out and I'll be right. Now our neck is perfectly straight. What we can do is we can put this particular tool away. So what we really need to do now is to mask the neck up. Very important that you mask the neck up. It differs per guitar, if I'm honest with you. What you don't want to be doing is, you know, say if you're working on an old guitar or a new guitar, you see a lot of people wrapping the neck round and putting strips down the side. That's all well and good, but if you've got an older guitar, like a vintage maple neck or something like that, the lacquer that they put on these can be very brittle, and putting too much of this stuff on the neck can actually pull the lacquer off. That's on a maple neck. Obviously on a rosewood neck, it doesn't really matter too much how you really do this. You will find your own way, but to be honest with you, I always prefer just taking strips like so, and just butting this up, you know, slightly away from the fret, because if you butt it up too close, what can happen is you actually can't get into the bottom side of the fret to actually crown it properly, or take the sides in. So yeah, you know, always want to make sure that this particular step here is fully undertaken, and also you make sure you mask the nut up. If you don't mask the nut up, what you'll find is when you're using your fret leveler, you might bump the nut, break it, even make it fall out. So we tend just to mask that in, just to make sure that everything's safe and sound down that end. So I'll just mask this neck up, and then we'll go from there onto the next section. So also there's another little handy tip that I can show you for actually masking a neck. What a lot of people do is they actually put the masking tape on the, say for example you have a wide piece like this. I mean, that's obviously not going to go in that fret there. So what people do is they line it up like this, and they actually run a blade down here, which I don't think is, you know, a necessary way of doing it. The easiest way that I've found to do it is to get yourself just a cheap knife set, a little scalpel knife set. One of these, you know, you can pick these up from any store really for a few quid, and a cutting surface. I mean, I tend to use this. It's right next to me, so I don't carve up anything else. And you literally, if you put the masking tape on here like this, And it's a nice way to take some of the tack out of it, which is kind of cool. You can actually cut this in half, like that. So I'll show you this one piece quick. And then you can actually fit this in where you need to fit it in. So it's a much handier way of doing it. See, this half will go pretty much anywhere where you want to put it, which is nice. So, and then literally just break the end off like that. Make sure that it's obviously tacked down well enough. Give it a rub, like so. And then what you can do is you can actually flip this around the other way and use the other side of it. So it just saves any unwanted marks on the neck from this blade, because as soon as you put this blade in here, you know, you're going to be carving up the wood underneath if you slip, and you're going to be taking parts off the neck. Obviously, working on your customers' guitars, you're going to find that if you slip and you do one of them damage, they're not going to be inclined to bring you work again. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll just mask this neck up, and then we'll get on to the next section. So I'll see you in a couple of minutes. Right, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we have successfully masked the neck up sufficiently for the job we need to do. As you can see by this particular guitar, this does have, can you see that? Quite a lot of pitting. So the first thing we need to do is to eradicate that. As you can see, it's quite bad. It's a lot worse than it's actually showing on there, because the camera that I'm using is not very good. So here we go, it's awful, isn't it? So that needs sorting out. Basically crowning your frets and getting them levelled and dressed. It prolongs the life of the guitar for a hell of a long time. So yeah, the next thing we need to do is to you need one of these. This is a marker pen you can buy from any shop whatsoever. They cost about £1, and yeah, we'll just get onto that. So what you need to do is you need to start this end. I'm left-handed, so I would start this end and work back so I don't cover my hand in pen. In a nutshell. So you just start and you just literally draw a line. Bloody pen's dried up, isn't it? On the top of the fret. Oh, there we go. Right on the top of the fret. All the way across. So yeah, you do this all the way up and down, and then we'll move on to the next section. Alright, so just let me do this and then I'll be right back. I'm just getting down to the last few frets now, so I'll just do these, and then we will move on to the next step, which is going to be leveling the fretboard. So there we go, that's that section done. Very easy, very simple. So the next step now is to level our frets and our fretboard. So this particular tool is not very coarse, it's very fine. I like using finer gear or finer files, because I find that it just gives you a nicer finish throughout. These people who use coarse files and then go on to a lighter file afterwards, you know, it's a nice way of doing it, but this is just my preferred way. You will find your own way of doing it with your own tools at the end of the day. So yeah, don't worry about the time it takes you to do this. Obviously we want to try and get the nicest finish we possibly can. So yeah, basically what you want to start is you want to start from the higher part of the board, and you want to sort of imagine that you're going down each string, for example, and you want to do a couple of passes on each, and then move to the A string, for example, and head down the fretboard as well, and then move onto the D and move down the board, and then the G, obviously, and vice versa. What that's going to do is going to keep the radius of the fretboard there, which is what you want. Some people use radius blocks. I think they're a nice idea. I haven't got any here because I'm not at my workshop, I am at my house. So I'm going to do it this way today. So I'll just show you one pass. So if we start at the top end of the board, you don't want to be pushing down on the neck. If you're pushing down, it's going to put a curve in the neck, and it's going to be no good at all. And again, another pass. like so. And then move over to the A string and do the same, like that. And then to the D string and another go. And then move over again, like so. And then to the B string, like that. And then to the E string. Now, after putting your marker on, what you will find is that you'll see a lot of sort of hashed marks across the frets. What this is telling you is the level of the frets, obviously in conjunction with the one before and after. This is quite level, believe it or not. It just needs these lumps taken out of it. So we will continue and take these horrible nasty defects out of these frets and make them all nice again. So it's particularly bad here actually, it's really low, that spot. So yeah, we'll just keep going with that until we get rid of all those horrible marks, and then we'll come to the crowning section. So I will see you after I've done this. I'll just show you one more time. So from the E string, down and down again, and then the A, like so. Don't want to push, yeah, again, don't want to push down. You want to let this do the work, okay? This is the part that does it, not the force that you put on top of it. Otherwise, what you'll find is you'll have just dead spots on the neck. Like some will be lower, and you know, obviously when you're pushing the neck down, what you're going to do is take the fret away from this file, and you're going to miss it in a nutshell. So, and again. Got a little bit better again, so you can still see. I can tilt this forward and bring it closer. Yeah, you can see these black marks. Okay, this is where the frets are pitted. You can clearly see that this guy, who's from quite a well-known band by the way, seriously plays his guitar. Yeah. So me doing this to it is gonna keep the guitar going. He's probably not gonna need another one of these for another 5 to 7 years. So yeah, I'll come back after I've got all these lumps and dents out, and I'll show you the next course of action. So all you've got to remember is you have to work from the E string and follow each string in the course of things. I'll see you in a minute. So I've just finished leveling these frets, and I'll try and show you. See, there's no more dents or horribleness on the tops of these. Yeah, it's a nice clean frets. As you can see, the next thing that we have to do is to now crown these. So it is back with the marker pen, and obviously again I'm going to start from this end and work my way down to here, so I don't get ink all over the back of my hand. So yeah, I'll just do that quickly now. Try not to get the side of the fret when you do this. So there's no need to get it, and obviously clean it off afterwards and things like that. So I've had to reapply a few pieces of tape down this end from some rash from the file. And this is one of the hardest parts now, because what we've got to do, we've got to take our crowning file, which is one of these. I use a triangle crowning file. In a nutshell, this is smooth on the point, on the side of the file here. Just makes it easier, so there's no rashing on the neck or anything like that. Yeah, so what we like to do, usually I would have the neck secured to the bench, but obviously I don't have this at home at the moment, so we kind of just make do with what we got. Now, what our goal is here is to take this file and to basically start off at quite an angle pointing towards 12 o'clock, and then gradually throughout the course of it increase the angle of the file, and what we're looking to get on the top of the fret is a line that looks like a very fine piece of hair in the middle of it. So just literally all straight passes. Don't want none of this going on. If we do some of that, then it's just not going to be a nice finish on the front. I'm just going to move the light in so I can see. So if you can't see that, just makes it easier. You have to see what you're doing. You can do a little bit of back and forward. That's not the end of the world. What we don't want to do is to take too much, because it just doesn't look right. It doesn't look right. It just won't play nicely. The whole point of this is halfway through the fret here. Let me just hold this up so you can see that. You know, the line's getting smaller on the top of the fret as to the post of the one next to it, which is a full black mark here. I can't really see what I'm doing. Sorry. So as you can see, the line's getting smaller, so we want that to be like a fine piece of hair on the top of that. I'm just going to move that away, actually. Yeah, again, don't want to be pushing too hard with this. Let the file do the work in a nutshell. Because you will find that if you push too hard, it just won't give it a desired finish. I mean, the side of the file does most of the work for you here, so there's no need for you to push incredibly hard. Yet again, it's all down to the tools you have, and not accuracy rather than power, we would say. That kind of situation. Yeah, once you've got your fine line across the top, you're pretty much done on that for the minute. And you've just got like 17 more to go, 20 more to go, and then you've done. It take too long per fret. I just want to make sure that this line is nice and even across the top of the fret. masking tape rash. So I'll put a little bit of that on, just to keep that covered. Gentle movement, so see if I can get this on the camera nicely for you. So as you can see, this fret next door to it is black, because we've not done it yet, and this one, because it's so fine, it's got a nice straight fine line running across it that looks like a hair. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of these, and after we've done it, I can show you how to finish it. So each one is the same in a nutshell. Quite a boring process, I must say, but the rewards are at the end of it. So 21 to go. See you in a little while. Bye. So here we are. I've just finished doing every single last fret. As you can see, they look pretty good already. That's only the recount though. I've still got the polish on each fret to go. But what we'll do is I'm going to put my guitar tools away tonight because it's coming up 5 to 10, and yeah, we'll finish this tomorrow night, and yeah, I'll show you how to do the next step. So see you tomorrow. Rightio, so here we are. We're back for the second night, so welcome back. It was getting too late last night and I didn't really want to finish it anyway. You know, I started at around 9 o'clock and it got to about sort of 10:15. I thought that enough, so we're back at it tonight. So the next sort of stage that we're going to be getting on to is you know, obviously making the frets nice and smooth and lovely, and just bringing them up to a nice polish in a nutshell. So the reason behind that is, when you have a beautifully polished, highly polished, smooth fret, the guitar is going to play nicer, because theoretically what happens is when you push down on a string, you don't really touch the wood underneath. As such, the string rests on the frets, and obviously the feel of those under the finger determines how nice the guitar is going to play. So we start off you know, with a sort of medium grit, I would say. I like to start around 800 and work myself up to 12,000 and take each one individually. So basically just start off with a piece of 800, just normal grit sandpaper, pick from any shop really, and just work this up in small increments all the way up the fretboard. Don't want to stay in one area for too long. If you stay in one area for too long, it's just going to cause problems in the long run. So just take this. I tend to like wrapping it around my finger like this. It just makes it a hell of a lot easier to use, and it gives the fret a nice rounding on top, which is really what we're after. So basically just do this all the way up until obviously the fret starts to look smooth, and then what you do is you drop down to the next grit of sandpaper, and continue there on. So I'll just give this the 800 and then I'll be right back. So the next step is to get your 1000 and do the same thing. So start off yet again in the same sort of pad, like this, all the way up the neck. Basically getting rid of all them scratches that this file has made in a nutshell. The nice thing about doing it this way is the next step is moving on to higher grit papers, and actually changing the type of paper we use. So instead of using 1000 grit, you'll then move on to 1500. the next part of the next part of it in a nutshell. So I'll just finish this off and then I'll come back and see you. So
Rightio, and we're back.
I've just finished doing the 1000 and I've just finished doing the 1200 as well. So a lot of different technicians, they tend to stop at this because they deem this as being a smooth enough finish on the fret. I personally, sorry, let me move my phone. I personally do not. I like to keep going. I just think it's a good way of doing it, and a nice. It just gives you a much better finish. So I've got a bag full of these. This is called micro mesh paper, and this has lots of different grits, styles. I mean, it goes all the way up to 12,000 here. 12,000 is like leather, as you can see. So the first one we start off is we need to find the 1500, which is quite coarse paper. I don't know what that is. I think that's 15 as well. Yeah, that is 15. So this is 15 micro mesh paper. Been used quite a lot, that sheet. So I'm going to move on to a smaller sheet. So literally, what I do here is I literally work on each fret. So I do all of the frets in 15, all of the frets in 18, all of the frets in 22, all of the frets in 25, all of the frets in 3, 3,600, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 8,000, 12,000, and then that's just about getting ready to be finished. So literally with this, you're just working along the top of each fret. Just make sure you're getting all down the side of the fret. So if this is the fret, you want to get in all down the side, all down here, and you want to go on top as well. Nice gentle, yet again, you don't have to push. Pushing is only going to sink the fret down in the net. We don't want to do that. We just want to give it, a good polish in a nutshell. So start on each one and work our way through. I'm just going to put this light on. I know that you guys can't see all that well because of the camera, but it gives me a better indication of what I'm doing here. So literally back and forth. Now that fret already is looking way better than the one next to it. So we just keep doing this, just making sure that we polish out all of them horrible, nasty marks that the crowning file has made. And that just looks stunning already. That's beautiful. Fantastic. So what I'll do is I'll just go through all the sandpapers and then I'll show you the finished article. So just bearing in mind how this looks now, for example, you can see that fret already, look, absolutely gleaming, and that's only just gone and been done with 1500. So you wait until that gets up to 12,000. It's going to be really something. It's going to play absolutely stunning. So I'll see you in about half an hour. Right, ladies and gentlemen, this is after 1800. Very nice, right? Right, next up, we'll move up to another paper. So as you can see, without even showing you, these frets are looking absolutely stunning. So now they've started to now, it's well worth all the work you put in, and it keeps my customers very happy. So I will literally gonna blast through the rest of the sandpapers now, the micro mesh, sorry, and I will show you the finished product. So see you in a bit. Right, I'll just take all the masking tape off and then I'll show you this. So give us another point there. It's always better when you're taking masking tape off, instead of picking, don't want to pick, just roll your thumb over it, because if you're working on old vintage guitars or you're working on, this can actually mark the neck, believe it or not. You can actually put marks on the neck by doing that. So yeah, always roll the masking tape off. It just makes things a hell of a lot easier for you in the long run, and you won't be marking nobody's guitar necks either. So yeah, give us a second and I'll be right back. So there we have the masking tape off neck. Still a little bit on there, there's a bit of dust. So now the next step, look at those frets, they're lovely, aren't they? That's going to play like an absolute dream. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to clean this fretboard off of all the stickiness from the masking tape, if there's any left on there. I like to, on this, use a lighter fluid. So we'll just put lighter fluid on here and we'll get rid of all the stickiness, and then I'll just check the nut depth compared to the fret measurements, and just make sure that the nut depth is okay for a setup. So I'm not going to show you how to set a guitar up today. I'll just do that and I'll show you the finished article. So give me sort of 10 minutes and I'll be right back again. So see you in a second. So then, ladies and gentlemen, here we have the finished article. As you can see, the frets look absolutely brand spanking new, and that's going to prolong the life of this guitar for another 7 to 10 years. Like I say, you should always look after your frets, because if you don't, you'll end up having to have all new ones put in. Well, you will eventually, but you know, for this sort of purpose, you know, you must look after these. It's what makes the guitar play nice. There you go. Sounds nice, looks nice. Radius has all been put in here. The nut slots are perfect. Hear that little twangy noise? That's what you're looking for there. So hopefully you'll subscribe to another video, and we'll see you again soon.